I am so aggravated, y'all. This stupid computer, I think I'm going to give him a name so I can call him names. Cut off about 10 minutes into my video, and I didn't realize it. So I was just talking away, went all the way through this thing. My voice is not that great today, so this was not a good day for my computer to act up. Okay, stop. Take a deep breath, Marlene. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, and I think it's January 25th. Y'all know I'm notorious for not knowing what the date is and don't really care. I just get up in the morning and look at my calendar and see what I have to do that day. But I think it's the 25th. We have sunshine, praise the Lord. This is our third day to have some sunshine. Yesterday it got up to 70 here. I just wanted to stand in it. It's been several weeks since we've had days like this. Unfortunately, it's also windy, so I can't stand out there in it because my allergies, as you can tell, my eyes swollen and my sinuses are already crazy. I had to be out several times yesterday, and it's just really already done a number on me. I need to hit the allergy medicine, I guess. Anyhow, couple of things I want to tell you. First of all, I read all the conversation on Stitch Mania yesterday on Facebook about Flosstubers and how often we video and why we don't video, and life gets in the way and all that kind of stuff. And it does. I started blogging, I think it was in 2008, maybe, somewhere around there anyway, and did it faithfully for several years. And I've tapered off now to where it's once a month or once every 2 months. I don't know. That's kind of faded away for me. I'm still reading a lot of blogs, but not posting as much as I used to. I guess which is why I turned to Flosstube, because it's an outlet for me. Anyway, I'm sidetracking there. The conversation on Facebook completely morphed into what people wear while they're videoing. And most people talked about pajama pants and that kind of thing. And many mentioned not having a bra on. And so I just want to tell you all that two things. First of all, today and today only, I am completely dressed from the skin out. Earrings, undergarments, the whole bit. I even have on shoes and socks. I didn't do it for y'all, I confess. I have to go to physical therapy after a while. So today I am completely dressed. And the second thing I want to tell you, those of you who are going braless, is you owe all of that to me, because I'm in the original bra burning generation. I remember when I was about 20, which would have been 50 years ago if you're calculating. I had a baby on one hip and was going to see my mother-in-law. I adored my mother-in-law. She was precious. She was a prude, but precious just the same. And I had on a t-shirt and no bra. And I remember her noticing that fact and just laughing and saying, "Oh, honey, go without it as long as you can, because there will come a day when you can't do that anymore." Well, there came a day. Out in public, I don't do that anymore. At home, that's another story. Okay. Now, have a question. I've told y'all that my husband and I were both educators, and all three of our children are educators. Our son, who is the baby in our family and is called the golden child by his older sisters, they were 11 and 8 when he was born, so they thought that we let him do everything he wanted to do, which might have been the truth because we were too dang tired to stop him after that. Thank goodness he was good. Anyway, he's a football coach, high school football coach. And every year, the first weekend in February, he comes to our house for a coaching clinic that's held here in this town. And he brings with him all his friends. 5, 6, 7 coaches. Big guys, okay? Come and spend the weekend at our house. Now, they're pretty smart because they can come here and stay for free, which means they're not using money in their budget, and they get to go to another coaching clinic where they have to pay for a motel room. Pretty smart if you ask me. Most of the time, my husband and I leave when they come. It's a perfect opportunity for us to have house sitters, and we can leave and go do whatever we want to do. Sometimes we stay, but not often. And so this time we are going to Memphis to spend the weekend. So here's my question for you. Does anybody know of or have experience of a cross-stitch shop in Memphis? I can look it up, and I will, but it's always better to get a personal view of somebody who's been there. So if you know of one, please comment down below and let me know so I can be sure that I look it up. And if there's anybody around Memphis that might possibly be stitching over there, let me know that too. I don't have any time without my husband, I'm pretty sure, but he doesn't mind sitting in the car for a little while I visit. So just somebody tell me, okay? Now, where am I? Oh, okay. Some time ago in a video, Vonna, the Twisted Stitcher, I almost always mention her because I've learned so much from her, mentioned a rolling cart that she uses by her stitchy chair or somewhere in that area. And one of my kids had a rolling computer cart that she wasn't using. So I brought it home with me, and y'all, I have just fallen in love with it. It's, I have my computer on it right now. It's part of it slants. I think she got this at Office Depot, maybe, one of those places, and maybe even Walmart. But it's a computer table that's on casters, and part of, like a fourth of it on one end is flat, and then the other 3/4 can be flat, or it can tilt in either direction. And it has a ledge on both sides, so whichever way you tilt it, your computer will not slide off because it's on that ledge. Works great for that, and that's what I'm using right now. But it also works for my stitching stuff. I have a little easel, a needlepoint easel actually, that I put my pattern on, and it's magnetic, and it has a magnetic bar that slides up and down that pattern, and I can sit that on there. I have this little, I think it was a candle holder, it's real heavy, that I keep all my little necessaries in, my highlighter and my seam ripper and my thread nips and my thread heaven and all that stuff sits right there, and it doesn't slide off. But better than that, y'all, when I'm using a smaller hook or a smaller Q-snap, I can pull this table right up next to me. It's lower than this, than my hands are. And I can prop the top part of that hook on there, or the Q-snap or whatever I'm using, and two-hand stitch without having a lap stand. It just works great. So y'all might check that out. You might check that out because I just love mine. Random acts of kindness. I want to talk about that. I mentioned this last time. I ordered some stuff from Abi Bellastitch. Hi, Miss Abi. And she was just so sweet. She always sends something extra, an extra needle minder. This time she sent a pattern. She sent some fabric. It just makes your heart smile when someone does something like that, out of the ordinary. And so I want to remember that. I want to remember to do that same thing. I had another random act of kindness that just kind of blew me away this week. Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen of Kathleen's Trodden Trail. If you haven't found her yet, she's only just begun floss tubing. I think has one video out. Had a pattern. She had stitched this pattern. It was Thanksgiving stockings. And I thought it was so pretty and told her I thought it was so pretty. And in the comment, she replied to me and she said, I'm finished with that pattern. Would you like to have it? I'll give it to you. And of course I said, that would be wonderful. I'd love to have that pattern. I love Plum Street samplers. It's one of my very favorites. And so she sent that to me. And that's when I opened up the envelope, that's what I was expecting to see. But she didn't just send me that pattern. She sent me several patterns that she had stitched and was through with. This one is a Plum Street sampler called Hare's Autumn. Another pretty one. She sent me another Plum Street samplers pattern. This one is called Turkey Sausage. Cute dachshunds. I have a friend who has dachshunds. I'll have to stitch that for her. And she sent me a Lizzie Kate Christmas stockings. Oh, I just love this one. I can't wait. Unto You Is Born This Day. I can't wait to stitch that one. And another Lizzie Kate one, Promise Me. She sent that one. And then a Brenda Gervais pattern, Boo. Such kindness. So, so sweet. I cannot just thank you. Thank you to all of you. And thank you to all of you who are posting videos. There are so many of you that are my very favorites that I couldn't stand to list them all because I'd leave people out. And I'm so far behind on watching right now, I can't seem to keep up. But I do have a new television. I think I told y'all that. And I can watch Flosstube on it. And it's wonderful because I can sit at night and stitch and watch that. Okay, I have some finishes to show you. Fully finished things. This one I finished some time ago. It's called The Boys Are Back in Town by Just Another Button Company. All of these are buttons. All the little faces are buttons in the bat. I made it into a pillow, and here's what it's a little different. Black polka dot on the back. I couldn't find just how I wanted to finish these edges. That purple cape, I needed to pull that color out. I found this ribbon in my stash, but it was purple and white polka dots on the right side. The wrong side of the ribbon was a solid purple, so I used it. And I couldn't figure out how I was going to get those corners straight, so instead of doing that, I twisted the ribbon and turned it so that it looks like a mitered edge here. And I love the way that turned out. It's different. It's not like most other stuff that I've done. And I like the fact that it's different. This is I Will Be There. This pattern was a free one by, I gotta look in my notes here. The Snowflake Diaries. I did this one on 32 count Belgian linen, parchment color. And I used Gentle Art threads, Country Redwood and Piney Woods are the colors I used for that. And then, remember that sled I was having so much trouble with last time? I finished it. And it turned out so much cuter than I thought it was going to, that I guess I'll go ahead and do the other two. I had decided that I wasn't going to finish the other two because I swear I unstitched this thing about 3 times, but it just turned out real well. So I will go ahead and do those others. Okay. Oh, me knocked my phone off. What am I working on? I think I'm just going to show you this one. Some of this stuff's back in here. I nest here where I stitch. It's like I'm back in the middle and I've got a U-shaped surrounding here. All my DMC thread boxes are over here on my right, and then there's a bookshelf right behind it. You can kind of see the edge of the bookshelf. Here, I'll turn it. Right there. And I have all my cross-stitch patterns there, and I have stitching sewing baskets there. And I have in those baskets, I have everything I might need. Threads and for finishing, and needles and seam rippers, and you name it, I've got it over there. And down there, I have a basket where I keep all of my Q-snaps and hooks and scroll frames, so that all I have to do when I pull out something new is turn around and pick one of them up right there. It's really not the neatest situation in the whole world. And I'm generally a very neat and tidy kind of person, but I can't yet find a way. I think a bookshelf that had doors would be great, except I don't have room for that. Anyway, everything I have is right back here. I have been working almost exclusively on this Little House, the Needleworker pattern. I really want to get that done and get it framed. I'm not going to take it off the hook because I'm going to stitch on it in a minute. But this is where I am on this one. And it's also on 32 count Belgian linen. I had a huge piece of that. And so I'm using that. It's parchment, I believe is the color of that one. And here's how I think I want to frame it. I found this at the flea market. I have no idea what it was in its earlier life. It's chalkboard painted. I believe that's chalkboard paint. And then red on the outside. It has a raised sort of a handle on this end, but not on this end. I think that I'm going to paint that a black, the whole thing. And the needleworker I've measured will fit right in here. So I'm going to put that right in there, and it will go longwise. And then I have a pattern for scissors, a bunch of scissors. And I'm going to stitch part of it because it's too big and put on this end and then hang it. What do you think? Think that'll work? I don't know. And speaking of the flea market, I want to show you one other thing here. And it's not going to be easy for me to do, so I'm going to try it this way. This is the little table that sits right to my left. There, I think you can see that. This center part of this table topper, this little round table has a brown tablecloth underneath that goes to the floor. This piece, khaki even weave with the red schoolhouses on it, I found at a flea market several years ago for $1. Yep, $1. Just makes you sick. If my eyes were better, I would tell you what year it was stitched because it's on there, but right now I can't see it. I could put my magnifying light over it, I guess, and see it. Anyway, I brought it home, and let's see. I still can't read it. 1984, I think. I brought it home, and I put 4 borders around it. This was my first one. This little narrow one, here's my second one. the third one and the fourth one. It's just a square piece that I put over that table. And I love it. It's a rescue. I see, every time I go to the flea market, I see little cross-stitch pieces that folks have done. I showed you some ornaments that I was going to try to make last week. And I ended up having to just toss that because once I really got to looking at them, they were stained pretty badly and they were sewn so close together. I tried to cut one of them and stitch it, and it raveled. For some reason it raveled and I couldn't do it, so I had to toss the whole thing. But sometimes you find little pieces like that and it just breaks your heart because you know somebody has spent hours working on that, and whoever ended up with it didn't value it. I hate to see that. So bring those pieces home if you see them and do something with them. They are definitely worth that. I only bought 2 patterns this month, and it was on an accident. That's what my grandson used to tell me. I did it on an accident, Grandma. But I was at Hobby Lobby. I needed a bigger, didn't need it. I wanted a bigger hook. I use a particular kind. This one is it's one of those non-slip. I find them at Hobby Lobby sometimes. And it has my hand's not working good today. It really is doing pretty good, y'all. I'm finishing up my therapy this week. It has a groove right here and then a raised place in here that fits right in there. And so the tension is really good on these kind of hooks. And I like them a lot because I told you before, I can prop that up on my little computer table and work, and it's just wonderful. Anyway, on their clearance rack at Hobby Lobby, I found 2 patterns. This one is, they're from Heartfelt Kits, and this one's called Have Faith. Isn't that sweet? And this one is called, it says, Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. There were some really pretty kits there, y'all, really pretty ones. Some big ones, some little ones, some that were calendars, like from 2016, that aren't, the dates aren't good on anymore, but the pictures were really pretty. But I just can't, I have so many patterns now. I'm trying hard not to go crazy, to try to get some stitched before I really buy more. So I think that's about all that I have. Plans. Everybody's been talking about plans for 2017. I'm not planning. I'm not planning anything. I thought when January started, I thought, okay, I'm going to work on this week, and that whole rotation thing, I was going to do that. Couldn't do it. It just didn't work for me. So I just stitch on what I want to stitch on today, stitch on what I want to tomorrow. If that means some things get put back for a while, they just get put back for a while. If I would quit watching videos, then I probably wouldn't have that problem, but y'all stitch the most beautiful things. And I want those. I want to stitch those. And so, some of them I have already in my stash, and so I want to go get it and bring it out. So, I don't know. I'm so far behind on watching Flosstube videos, and I'm going to work on that. But anyway, that's my excuse. I'm just not going to do it. I don't have an excuse. I'm just not going to do it. Oh, my face is getting pink. I may have some fever. I wonder if that means I don't have to go to therapy today. Probably not. Anyway. So, that's all I have. I hope that everybody has a wonderful stitchy week, and that I see you again in a week or two. Okay? Bye-bye.